Hello there fellow acolytes of Saturn, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Moon Runes of Saturn. This one is a little bit different. We're covering Segata Sanshiro Shinken Yugi, and rather than go over whether or not it's playable to non-Japanese speakers, which it totally is, I'm instead going to do like a little bit of a tutorial on how to play the game. Because of how the game is, it's just 10 minigames basically. I'm going to show you how to play each one and just give you a guide around the menus. There's no point in saying, oh yeah, it's easy to figure out, which it is. I might as well just show you how to do it, save you looking up at game facts or something. So from the start, it's all in English, the options menu's just like sound, so no. And when you go in, that's when things start to get a little bit more difficult. As soon as you load it up, you probably think this is not really accessible to Japanese speakers, but I mean it is. Like your final one is basically high scores. So you load up the high scores and it just tells you the high scores for each minigame. So, yeah, for example. The next one up is actually the videos. If you load onto this one, you can see the videos that you've unlocked, which are the Sega Saturn Sanshiro commercials. If you can see, there are some that are clear and some that are black. The ones that are black are locked and you need to unlock via minigames. You need to do various different things. Usually it's a high score, but sometimes you need to do other things as well. They can be quite difficult to unlock, but it's something there that's, to aim for. Which is good because it adds an element of replayability to the game. This one is a little bit more worthless. It's the voices of Segata Sanshiro, as you can see then. Which is basically just a sound test. There's nothing really much more to it than that. You've got a bunch of different samples, you press one, you hear Segata Sanshiro's voice. That's about all there is to it. Moving on now to the meat of the game, the first option is the minigames, and this is the one you'll be playing. Now, the big kicker with this is that there's no actual indication as to what the minigames are. And this is probably my biggest gripe with the game as a non-Japanese speaker. You just get a big fucking list of Japanese names. You'll eventually learn what some of them are, there's only 10 of them, so once you figure out which ones you like, you can just remember, oh, I like number 1, 5 and 10 for example. So it's not that much of a pain in the ass, it's just, if you're not familiar with what the minigames are, it can be a bit off-putting. Anyway, let's go into the meat of this video and I'll show you how to play each one. So we'll start with the first game naturally enough. I'm not going to play all these games all the way through because some of them are quite long. I'm literally just going to give you a sample of how they play and how to play it. Right, so this first one is a Dance Dance Revolution type thing. You basically get a bunch of inputs and then when it says start, you just got to repeat it. So A, A, C, A. And you get to see Segata Sanshiro dance. It will then repeat and get harder and harder until it reaches round 10. I'm not really going to show you much more than that, to be honest, because there's not really much point. Anyway, if you want to get back to the main menu, it's the final option, this long one. It's actually kind of cool, is the rhythm game. It depends on how much you get out of, memorizing button codes and playing them. It's not that fun, but it's okay. It's one of those things that's more kind of fun to look at. It's good to see Segata Sanshiro doing all those crazy dance moves, rather than actually playing the game itself. The second one is a bit of an interesting one. You have to use the D-pad and basically press the A, B and C buttons to push him onto mines. And yeah, as soon as you get hit, it's game over. But you've got to hit the fucker 10 times in a row. And it's pretty much near impossible. If you manage to do the 10 times in a row, I think you unlock the Bomberman fight cutscene from what I gather. But there's no way in shit I'm going to be able to do that. So yeah, that's that one. To be honest, that's probably my least favourite of the bunch. Just because it seems quite near impossible to play. I'd say I can get like 2 or 3 hits on him. But it all seems to be kind of luck-based. There's probably a way that I'm missing. There's probably some kind of technique behind it, which I don't understand because I don't speak Japanese. But as far as I can work out, it's just luck-based. Okay, moving on to the third one, and we have the Santa Claus one. Basically, To score points, you throw presents into the chimneys. What you do with this is you press any of the buttons, like pressing A throws it, pressing B throws it, pressing C throws it, any of the action buttons, and you'll do it. Just bear in mind that it has a bit of an arc, so you've got to kind of judge it like that. Obviously avoid shit like birds and crap, and yeah, just basically do that. Bam, 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 done. Nice and easy. That's probably the first of the enjoyable ones, and it is quite fun. It's one of those novelty things you kind of just maybe play around Christmas time if you're feeling a little bit festive. The fourth one is a cool one, and probably the first one that I actually consider to be legitimately good. What you do is you need to break as many of these bricks as you can. You have to get, as you can see on the bar, there's like 3 different parts. There's a main bit in the middle, which is a big bit, and then you've got like a bit with like caution lines on it. You have to get as high up as you can in the main bar without hitting the caution lines. If you hit the caution lines, you die basically. And you've got to press A to start, then you press A to stop at the top, and then A to stop at the bottom. I'll give you an example. So pressing A, A, A. You see I fucked up then and hit the bottom and his head's cracked. Or if I press it too far at the top, his head explodes. But then if you do it right, I'll try not to muck it up. There we go. Wasn't a great one, but I wanted to play it a little bit safe so you can actually see what happens. There you go, bam. It's a very short game, you just score as high as you can get. Right, so the next one in the list is, well, it's sort of interesting. It's based on Panzer Dragoon, but it's nowhere near as exciting as any of the Panzer Dragoon games. What you have to do is you have to count how many Segata Sanshiros you see. So all these dragons fly by and you count how many heads there are. I've lost count unfortunately, so I'm probably going to mess this up. Yeah, I've completely lost count. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It'll fly by and then you just input a number. The number's English, so you just type in what you think. I think it was 16. 17. I missed one while I was talking. That's fine. Don't matter. Next up, we have probably the most fun game in the collection. And that's the one based on Burning Rangers. It's the most fun because it's actually the most like a game. What you have to do is you press the up and down arrows to like avoid stuff. And then press like A, B and C in order to jump over things. Now as you'll see, there'll be shit like that just to troll you. Anyway, moving on now. We have like a picture match game. This one's kind of cool. I mean, you've got a sample, so you've got Segata Sanshiro in the like the red wig. So you've basically got to go find all the ones in the red wig and just mark them off. And that's literally all there is to it. It's not always the red wig, but you just gotta match all the same ones. Press A or C if you want to confirm, and then B to press no. Basically, as soon as you've used all your camera shots, you just automatically end the game. It says game over, but it always says game over. But yeah, I got him alright. Presumably that sign says winner or something, because I didn't fuck up, because that's a real easy one. Right, so now we have the ice skating minigame. So this one, it's very similar to head breaking one. You've got to press A at the right moment. If you press it too late, and it's on the grey bit, or it's not in the right moment, then you basically your feet fuck up. You'll see the meter go up and down, and yeah, you feel it too much, you freeze over like that. You just got to get the rhythm going, gets faster and faster, gets more difficult. It kind of looks a bit shit, but I honestly enjoy it. The penultimate game is kind of neat. You've got to kick stuff into this garbage can. What you have to do is you have to judge it properly and kick the things. You'll find that a lot of the time you'll end up hurting your foot, and that's because you're kicking too late. So you have to kick pretty early, and then like that, you'll be fine. If you have to go particularly far, you'll probably fuck up. You've got to do it until basically the bin goes to 0. But to kick, you just press like the A, B or C button as you do in like all the other games. Again, really simple. Right, and the final game is a nice one. If you've ever played Columns, it's basically Columns. You get all these fish thing, and you need to match them. You might notice that there's water at the side. That's because Segata Sanshiro is about to drown, and you have to save him by matching the colours. Match 3 of them, the water goes down a little bit. If you match combos, it goes down like a lot. There's nothing really much more to say about this one. If you've ever played columns, it's pretty much the same, apart from you have that time limit of Segata Sanshiro getting fucked basically. But it's kind of cool. If you like columns, you'll like it. I mean, it's slow paced than columns, but you know, there you go. But yeah, anyway, there you go. This is Segata Sanshiro's Shinken Yugi. It's quite straightforward to play. It's not the most like in-depth game ever. I mean, as I mentioned in my Gems episode, this is basically more of a game that's for like Sega Saturn, you know, aficionados. People that are like really into the Sega Saturn because he's a Sega Saturn mascot. But as a, you know, game in itself, it's probably not worth the amount it goes for. It's not overly expensive, but it's still too much for it is. I mean, really this is like a lesser version of something like Segundo Arakotoa, and Segundo Arakotoa is just way better. You know, that being said, it still is quite entertaining, especially because you get like all these commercials. Like you've got the commercials playing, which even without subtitles, they're still fun to watch. I mean, watching Segata Sanshiro run through a fucking forest with a big Saturn on his back, that's enough to fucking light anyone's heart up. So that's basically been my sort of guide to the mini-games on Segata Sanshiro's Shinken Yugi. There's not a great deal to the games, as I mentioned before, so they're relatively simple and not difficult to work out, but because there are only 10 of them, I thought I'd do a mini guide and just actually tell you what you need to do. Okay, well, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.